Imagine walking into a dusty roadside bar just outside Fort Bragg, North Carolina, on a humid Friday night in 2019. The jukebox is blasting classic rock, neon beer signs flicker, and a dozen off-duty soldiers are laughing loud, still buzzing from a long week of training. At the corner of the bar sits a woman no one notices at first. Petite, maybe 5'4", faded jeans, black tank top, ponytail pulled tight. She's nursing a water with lime, scrolling her phone, keeping to herself. Her name is Sarah Rogue Morgan. And what those soldiers are about to discover is that she's not just any veteran. She's one of the first women to ever earn the Navy SEAL Trident. And tonight, she didn't come here looking for trouble. But trouble just found her. Hey, if you love real stories about quiet warriors who shock the world when they finally stand up, hit that subscribe button right now and ring the bell, because this channel is where legends come to life. It started with a drunk sergeant named Daniels. Big guy, loudmouth, fresh off a deployment and convinced the world owed him respect. He'd been watching Sarah for 20 minutes, whispering to his buddies, laughing too hard. Finally, he swaggered over, beer sloshing. "Hey, sweetheart," he slurred, leaning way too close. "You know this is a soldier bar, right?" Civilians usually sit in the back. His friends howled behind him. Sarah didn't even look up from her phone. "I'm good right here, Sergeant," she said calmly. The calmness threw him off for half a second, then his ego kicked back in. "Oh, you think you're tough? You some kind of weekend warrior? What'd you do, date a Marine once?" The bar got quieter. Phones came out. Daniels reached to grab her wrist, probably just to yank her off the stool and make a scene. Huge mistake. In one fluid motion, Sarah twisted his arm, swept his legs, and suddenly the 240-pound sergeant was staring at the ceiling with her knee on his throat. The bar went dead silent. His buddies jumped up, chairs scraping. 6 of them, all combat veterans themselves, started circling. "You just put hands on a brother," one growled. "You're done, girl." Sarah slowly stood, hands open, voice ice cold. "I really don't want to hurt any of you. Walk away." They laughed. They actually laughed. One pulled a knife from his belt. Another cracked his knuckles. The bartender reached for the phone to call the MPs. This was about to go very, very wrong. That's when the first twist hit. The front door swung open, and in walked an older man, salt and pepper beard, quiet eyes. Master Chief Harper, retired SEAL, the man who'd been Sarah's training officer when almost everyone said a woman could never make it through buds. He took one look at the circle forming around his former student and sighed. "Boys," he said softly, "you might want to reconsider." Daniel spat blood on the floor. "Stay out of this, old man." Harper just smiled the smallest smile and nodded toward Sarah. "That's Rogue Morgan. Ring any bells?" The name didn't register at first. Then one of the younger soldiers, a staff sergeant who'd been around the Spec Ops community long enough, went pale. "Wait, Rogue? The Rogue? The one who—" His voice cracked. The others looked at him. "The one who what?" He swallowed hard. "The one who carried her wounded teammate 12 miles through Taliban territory after the rest of the platoon was pinned down. The one the teams still talk about in hushed tones. You could feel the temperature drop 10 degrees. The knife disappeared back into its sheath real quick. Daniels, still on the floor, suddenly looked like he wanted to vanish into the sawdust. Sarah hadn't moved, hadn't raised her voice once. She just stared at them with those calm, 1,000-yard eyes that only come from seeing things no human should ever have to see. Harper stepped forward. "Any of you ever ring the bell?" Dead silence. Ringing the bell at Bud's means you quit. None of them had. Sarah had never rung it. Not through Hell Week, not through drown-proofing, not through anything they threw at her. She was one of maybe a handful of women on the planet who could say that. The soldiers started backing up, mumbling apologies, eyes on the floor. Daniels tried to stand, legs shaking. Sarah looked down at him, and for the first time her voice carried something deeper than calm, something raw. "You wear that uniform like it makes you invincible," she said quietly. "But it doesn't. What makes you invincible is knowing when you're wrong and having the guts to admit it." She reached into her pocket, pulled out a faded gold trident pin, the seal badge, and set it on the bar. "That's what this means, not picking fights in bars with people half your size." Then she turned and walked toward the door. No swagger, no gloating, just quiet, unbreakable strength. Harper caught up with her outside under the buzzing neon sign. "You didn't have to let them off that easy, Rogue." She stared at the moon for a long moment. "They're somebody's sons, Master Chief, somebody's brothers. They just forgot for a minute what the uniform is supposed to stand for." He nodded, eyes glassy. "Still the best teammate I ever had." She gave him the faintest smile, the first one all night, then climbed into her truck and disappeared into the Carolina darkness. The bar never talked about that night the same way again. Word spread fast through the Spec Ops community, then beyond. Sarah Morgan never sought the spotlight, never posted about it, never bragged. But every once in a while, when some loudmouth starts running his mouth about what women can or can't do in combat arms, some quiet soldier in the back will speak up and say, "You ever hear about the night Rogue took down half a platoon in a bar outside Bragg without even throwing a punch?" And the room goes quiet. Because legends aren't always the ones who make the loudest noise. Sometimes they're the ones who walk away, head high, leaving everyone else wondering how they ever doubted her in the first place. That's the story of the night a bar full of soldiers learned the hard way: never, ever underestimate the quiet woman in the corner. She's probably been through hell you can't even imagine and came back stronger. So tell me in the comments, from which part of the country are you watching this video right now? Drop your state or your city. Let's see where the warriors are tuning in from tonight. And if this story hit you in the feels, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to be reminded that real strength doesn't need to prove itself. It just is. I'll see you in the next one.